I never thought to be intentional about love. What is love? What are the aspects that can help us define love and clarify where we're participating, where we're lacking? What are the pieces of love that we should be coming to the table with? And I think this generation, or maybe even beyond this generation, we've had a pretty shallow view of one of the most intense and complex human emotions that we have. So I
Hmm.
wanted to look further into it. I wanted to, like Bell Hooks says, interrogate love and give that information to anyone who's interested. It's for the lovers, but it's also for the intellects who want to do love with purpose.
Hey Rebels, I'm Anicia Miller, contributor for Rebellious Magazine. Today I'm joined by Latasha, a TV and film writer based in Los Angeles. In her career, she's worked for and collaborated with Netflix, Issa Rae's Hooray Media, Kiki Palmer's Key TV Network, and Revolt TV in collaboration with Damn Right Originals and more. I first discovered Latasha through her web series Just Latasha's Interactions, which is streaming on OTV. We love OTV because it platforms intersectional storytelling. And we're chatting with her today because she is the writer and producer of a rebellious feminist rom-com titled She Loves Me Not. Latasha, thank you for being here.
Hi, Anicia. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited about this.
Yes, yes. So tell us about She Loves Me Not.
Yes, She Loves Me Not was originally developed while I was a resident in Mara Brock Akil's The Writers Colony. And it was the first story I wrote about love, but I knew I didn't want it to be your average run-of-the-mill rom-com. I wanted to take a very unusual approach to love, and therefore it has a feminist angle, and it follows a Brooklyn pistol who evaluates her love life amongst three suitors for her feminist podcast, but discovers that her brokenness in love stems from the estranged relationship with her mother, hence the title She Loves Me Not.
It's always the mama. It's always the mama. It's always that parental
That's a mom.
trauma.
Don't do that
I, during Mother's Day month. How dare you?
to
Yes. So, in the pitch, you mentioned it might be inspired by your personal life. What was the inspiration or catalyst for this story?
Absolutely. I was a staple panelist on a hit digital talk show called The Grapevine TV. We ran from 2016 to about 2022. And we lost a powerhouse voice, a feminist voice by the name of Aisha K. Faines, who was a dear friend to me. And so many of us over at the Grapevine TV family. And her voice has led so many Black women to feminism. She was a Harvard graduate, a public speaker, a news anchor, and when she got to the Grapevine TV, she shut everything down. I learned so much from my dear, dear friend who I dedicate She Loves Me Not to with her mother's blessing. Um, and it also made me evaluate how I approach love because in reading feminist stories, I never thought to be intentional about love. What is love? What are the aspects that can help us define love and clarify where we're participating, where we're lacking? What are the pieces of love that we should be coming to the table with? And I think this generation, or maybe even beyond this generation, we've had a pretty shallow view of one of the most intense and complex human emotions that we have. So I
Hmm.
wanted to look further into it. I wanted to, like Bell Hooks says, interrogate love and give that information to anyone who's interested. It's for the lovers, but it's also for the intellects who want to do love with purpose.
Now, yes, that's a lot. You mentioned bell hooks. So, this, I would say the romance genre often comes with a bad reputation for being man-focused or heteronormative. How so you made your film different. Which Black women authors was most inspirational for this project? You mentioned your friend
Hmm.
as
Yes.
one. Yes.
I definitely mentioned Aisha K. Faines. She is the biggest inspiration to this story. It's my effort to keep her voice and her work and her legacy alive. Her channel is still alive on YouTube, and she does incredible archetypes about women and coaching for career, life, love. A lot of her courses are automated, so her family still receives the finances from that. So I recommend everyone please go check out Aisha K. Faines' work, womenlovepower.com.
Okay.
Um, and also when I read Bell Hooks All About Love, it wasn't just we can dissect patriarchy all day, but there's also ways that women need to show up for ourselves and show up for our partners in love. And if it's not that symbiotic give and take, if it's not cyclical between the partners, then everybody's lacking.
Hmm.
So that was something that I really wanted to explore in this work. And what I really thought was the most interesting part in my story is that, yes, it's about dating. My heroine, Zosha, she has three partners. She has three men that she's sort of, entangled with. But at the
Okay.
end of the day, it doesn't become about the men. It becomes about where she feels she is broken in love. And so she goes back into the matriarchal line of her family and discovers that her mother has been broken in love. And if you go back with her mom, we discover that her grandmother was broken in love. And yes, it has
Hmm.
to do with men, but what do we as women allow in our lives to say this is love? And really, it's pain, war, and toxicity. Love should not hurt, love should not damage, love should not destroy. And if we don't stop that cycle, we continue to hurt our daughters.
Yes, love should not hurt. So that's it. So you're saying that to be a feminist and to have radical love, it is possible to be a romantic. Like I see a lot of pressure on the internet where um, people are promoting hypergamy, which is like marrying up, or even just the dating life. It's very transactional, and they say like we don't want feminists, we don't want independent women. You have to become like a submissive or a trad wife, and you're saying that you can be a radical feminist and still find love. Is this correct?
Absolutely. Toni Morrison has had her lovers. She's had plenty. Nikki Giovanni, we saw her partner throughout her life. Bell Hooks often shared her romantic and lustful exploits in her own essays and stories.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to this conversation online, it can be pretty extremist and it can be pretty black and white.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between being a lover and being romantic and being male-centered, right? To be male-centered is to erase yourself. It's to
Mm-hmm.
minimize, it's to shrink, it's to contort yourself into something small and invisible in order to cater to the man's power and visibility. That's not what love does. Love should expand you, you know? So when you do love correctly and intentionally to where it also fills you. Your partner is not a completion to you. That insinuates that there's something incomplete about you. It's nothing incomplete about you. Your partner is a complement to the type of love you already show yourself. So they're just a cherry on your own icing. So love is so beautiful. I want to love. I want people to be in love. But if it costs you yourself, that is not love.
Yeah, so you mentioned that contrary to what the mainstream romance films ha say, that your partner completes you, you're saying your partner complements you. Is that your rebellious take on love, or do you have another rebellious romance take?
That can be part of my rebellious take, but my rebellious romance take is that as Black children to Black parents, there is so much violence incorporated into what we define as love, stemming from the household. And so, as we grow into young adults who begin to formulate our own romantic partnerships, we may subconsciously be trying to include that violence with our partners. That could be emotional violence, mental violence, this sort of punishing and accountability, and all of these things that don't center and bring love home to a warming, forgiving, expanding place. And I don't think we realize as Black people that even coming for Black Americans, particularly, even being brought to this country against our will, while being handed a book of a God who says they love you, while your family is being murdered, raped, pillaged, colonized. There's been so much violence in the way that we experience ourselves and the way that we experience power and love. And I think so much of that becomes muddied and subconscious and just sort of hidden beneath the surface that I want us to really be intentional about where we can eradicate violence from the places that we define as love.
Okay, okay, that's pretty rebellious. So we're getting into it. You study the Black women authors. You've looked into your life, what are some of your top romance picks? These can be books, movies, audio dramas. What love stories really resonate with you or might be similar to this project?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. My first love story that I have modeled myself after was Aladdin with Princess Jasmine. She was my first feminist. Probably her and Ariel, but Princess Jasmine did not go for any BS. Her daddy was like, "You better marry this man. You better listen to him. You better take this inheritance and this legacy." And she said, "I would throw it all away to go get what I want. I'm going to follow my voice, my journey, my life, and I'm going to get
Mhm.
that street rat outside because he really ride for me on this carpet. Feel me?"
He said, I
And
need
I
a
was like,
soldier.
"Yeah, you know what I mean?" And a lot of women are going home to Jafar's. At what cost?
Listen, it really be. They really be like, go for this man just because he's big and powerful and have money. Meanwhile, he's Jafar.
You're going
Yuck.
home to Jafar, babe. Like, please. So, watching a young, I mean, I think she was a teenager at the time, but watching a young woman of color on this cartoon say no throughout the movie, I thought that was really powerful as she chose the love that was more suited for her, no matter what her status is and no matter what his status is.
Hmm.
Um, so I could hear the Shira Seven girls, ripping my wig off, but it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And another love story that heavily influenced She Loves Me Not is Fleabag. To watch a smart, funny, contemptuous, sinful, naughty woman go out and get what she wants while trying to tend to all of the internal emotional healing that she needs to go out into the world and protest this message of strength and empowerment and feminism while being messy and broken and weak. I was like, I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with the imperfect woman. I'm obsessed with the flawed woman. I'm obsessed with the woman behaving badly. So those are the stories that I really are drawn to and what I take inspiration from in my own work.
Yeah, nice. So, I would like to say that this crowdfunding campaign is a major milestone because it's for post-production. A lot of times people will say, give us money so we can make the thing. The thing has already been shot. Actually, it's been shot twice. Talk about the production journey and where you are with post-production. How will donations to the crowdfunding campaign help?
Yes, we originally crowdfunded to make the thing in 2024. We successfully raised, I think it was $18,000.
Okay.
Um, and we were aiming for 20, I believe. But the great thing about Seed and Spark is not only does it support women voices, queer voices, marginalized voices, it releases the money to you at 80% funded, which is why we are so loyal to Seed and Spark. And we successfully crowdfunded. We shot the entire short film. And in the offload process from taking the files from the camera and transferring it to the hard drives, we had someone who didn't really know how to do that properly. And so the files were all corrupted. We were devastated that weekend. There were tears and apologies and arguments and blame, but we really just had to take the time to forgive, give grace, allow mistakes. It was a huge mistake, but we had to allow that mistake. And then it really was a blessing in disguise because coming back to this in 2026, where we had an executive producer who was like, "Don't worry about the money, I'll cover it." Paid for the entire thing to be made over again. And we were all changed as filmmakers, as a team. We've grown into a family, how we wanted to approach and tell the story. All of our skills have gotten stronger over the past 2 years. And any filmmaker would tell you, if I could do it again, I would change this. We had the chance to do that. We're like, last time this didn't work. This time, let's do it this way. And when I say we have a beautiful film, we have an incredible, beautiful film. Everybody brought their best. My DP, Brittany Janae, my director, Tristan T.A. Hill. I rewrote it in a sense just to hit those emotional beats even stronger. It's shorter, it's tighter, It's such a strong, beautiful, lovely piece. And we worked with our set design. Her name is Sin. The way she designed all of the roses and the homes, and we had a beautiful wardrobe person, Rowan. The way she's dressed these characters to like really bring their stories to life. Our team just got bigger and better. And like to be able to do it again was like, we didn't see it when it happened, but coming back, we're like, thank God it happened.
I love that. I love that for you. It really is like to get the nerve up to create something
Mhm.
takes so much energy. And then to hit such a significant roadblock. But you guys turned it around. It's like, it's like a Job story. You get it double. All right. So, Latasha, is there anything you want to add about your project, about love before we go?
Yes, the last note that I would like to add, I'm so grateful to my friend Aisha K. Fames. And when we don't have the opportunity to interrogate how we learn to love in the home, it's hard for us to make a home for ourselves. And so, with the rise of sexist, patriarchal, manosphere, red pill content that encourages men and women to use love as a vehicle for violence, this piece is a call for us to do love correctly and come back home. And that's why it's really important to get this story out there. We have an incredible cast and crew. And we have Vanessa Estelle Williams, who comes to portray our heroine's mother, and she is a phenomenal legacy actress. If you know Black film, you know Vanessa Williams.
Okay,
So she has
yes.
blessed us with her presence in this project, and so I only hope that not only do you enjoy it as an entertainment piece, but you take a little bit of the messaging with it and integrate it into your heart and love stronger and better moving forward.
Yeah, we love to hear that at Rebellious. We're all about the rebellious feminist takes on life. This is all the time we have for today. Thank you, Latasha, for sharing your rebellious takes on
Thank
love
you.
and for putting She Loves Me Not into the world. Viewers, if you want to see She Loves Me Not, please donate to the crowdfunding campaign. The project is already shot. They just need to do post-production. The link is in the description. If you're seeing this after the campaign is ended, I highly recommend watching just Latasha's interactions on OTV. It's a sketch comedy series from a Black bi woman's sense. The series covers a queer perspective on dating, love, and Black culture spoofs. And also, Latasha, one more time, can you give us Aisha's website so that viewers can also tap into that resource?
Absolutely. Her website is womenlovepower.com.
Thank you. Finally, you can find Latasha online at justlatasha.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.